Alright, good Sunday morning, everybody. I hope you're all doing well. Today's one of my favorite days in SWGOH, and let's go ahead and get into why. If you already saw the thumbnail, if you already saw the title, you probably know why. But today is what I like to call Payday, right? Because we get this juicy payout over here from Territory Battle Rewards. Territory Battles is honestly mostly one of my favorite game modes. Entirely player versus environment game mode, but also requires a lot of participation from the guild. Everybody's kind of working together to achieve a common goal. Makes me feel warm and fuzzy inside, right? But then we get rewards like this. Now, what I've done this particular territory battle is I have not collected any special rewards. Special mission rewards for the whole territory battle to give you kind of an idea of just how many rewards are possible if your guild is focusing on special missions. Now, you might get these little messages in your inbox from time to time, and you're probably not going to have the values that we have in our inbox, but you definitely can achieve that if you get your guild on board with doing these special missions. And I'm going to go ahead and go through the math on everything and explain to you why economically, mathematically, it makes the most sense to get you and your 49 other guild members on board with doing as many special missions as you guys can possibly achieve, and why it's ultimately going to help you grow your account much faster than you would otherwise. This is something a lot of people sleep on, and I know people sleep on it because I recruit for the guild. I see people coming in and out all the time of the guild. I've had people leave my guild to go to a different guild that has more territory battle stars, right? We have 44 stars. We've seen people leave because another guild has 44 stars, 45 stars, or 46 stars. And we've had them come back and say it wasn't worth it because, you know, 1 star here only increases the rewards by so much, right? Especially when you're pushing the higher end, you know, the room to grow is not as high, right? 45 stars or 46 stars is definitely more, but in terms of rewards, you're looking at 50 more crystals for 2 more stars, right? You're looking at 300 more get 3 for 2 more stars. Ultimately, it doesn't hold a candle to how many special missions we do, because oftentimes what you see is these guilds that push for R9 platoons to get these higher rewards at the higher star levels. They're kind of neglecting special missions. They don't prioritize that. They don't make the guild prioritize that. I mean, some definitely do, but in a lot of cases, you'll see them neglect that, or they neglect it for territory wars, or they neglect it for, you know, everybody's focusing on their GAC, things like that, right? So we really push special mission collection. So let's go ahead and start from the beginning. I can't tell you up front exactly what mission this was. I can kind of guess, you know, off the top of my head, but so we'll go ahead and look at the first one. This one is going to be Kira and young Han Solo at Relic 5. You see a big chunk there. And then we get into this. This should be Seer and Cal special mission in Braca. And then from there we get into, this is probably, I'm gonna guess, Kashyyyk on the special missions. Either that or Tatooine. And then we have the Reva special mission. Obviously we get a bunch of shards there. This is probably Dathomir day 1, because we do Dathomir in 2 days, right? So you can see there's thousands of this get 2. This is probably the other one. This is probably Kashyyyk, and then the other one was this is probably Tatooine with Bo-Katan, Mandalore, and bam. And then you got me over here doing Zepho on day 3 because I have to do it earlier. Then we get some little increase in dividends here. This is probably Kira and L337 on Kessel. And then we get some more from Dathomir, people that were straggling behind, doing it day 2. Not straggling behind, they just allocated it to day 2. A lot of people will do that, especially because it gives you a better chance if platoons are done, things like that. All right, so straggling was the wrong word. And then we got somebody, this amazing dude over here, also maxing the raid crazy at 18 million. Did Vandor Chewie and young Han Solo at R9. Absolutely mad lead. And then we got Inquisitors probably on Haven class. Now things come in out of order a little bit here, I think. Okay, so we got bonus rewards. This is for Mandalore being completed. And then we got 1750 here. This is from everybody else doing the clone special mission on Zepho because we finished it on the last day. And then we got Zepho extra rewards for getting the 3 stars. Well, getting all the rewards there on Zepho. And then of course we got the juicy territory battle lump sum payment of all this. So now you don't have to do the math. I'll do the math for you. I already did it all, but I'll just go ahead and scroll through these rewards, right? We get some core gear, not too important. We got a nice full med pack here. Obviously the crystals and the get is the most, well, I wouldn't even say that's true. The get is really important, don't get me wrong, but we also get full pieces down here, which is costly, right? So when you add all this up, this probably equates to more than some of the get does, but we get 2 gear to pads at our level. This is like 44 stars is like the jump point to get 2, I think. 2 gear to keypads. We go from 3 impulse detectors to 4 impulse detectors, which is huge. And then we get our lovely little signal data pack here. I'm never gonna say no to more signal data. Go ahead and watch my video right here as to why signal data is so important. And then we get some Kyrotechs, more gear that we can go ahead and convert into stuff. But yeah, absolutely wonderful gift package, okay? So let's go ahead and get into some of the math on why you definitely want to have you and your guild focusing on these special missions, okay? Let's go ahead and jump over to the spreadsheet that you know I got for you guys. Okay, so we're gonna ignore just a couple things right here. This isn't quite right. I haven't updated the spreadsheet in terms of who can do what, so our numbers are a little off, but these numbers are what we did this territory battle, right? I've updated these numbers for exactly what we got this territory battle from the special missions, okay? And then we went ahead and added in the bonus zones here, right? So this is total what we're getting in terms of get 2 and get 3. And this is every territory battle. I mean, it goes up and down a little bit depending on who completes what. Sometimes people don't have time for a mission. Sometimes we have people on vacation. Things like that can kind of adjust, right? So obviously we want to get this maxed out. I think we can go up to 12,000 if I'm not mistaken, and like 3,500 or something of that nature. But there's a lot of room here for growth. And I'm kind of tracking all of this over here so you can kind of see that we have all this mathed out and all the planets and stuff. But so this is what we're getting, okay? So what does it require to get these kind of numbers in special missions, right? What teams do you need? What how many relic levels do you need on those teams, right? So I will go into every single special mission in a later video, but I'm just going to give you total numbers. In order to do all of these special missions over here, with the exception of Younghan and Vandor Chewy, because I don't endorse this one necessarily. Like, it's great if you want to do it, but I'm not telling anybody that they should do that one, that the payoff is there. The payoff isn't quite there for that mission, okay? But the other ones, right? So calculating all the relic levels on all these characters you see here at the top, what we get to is we need 20 Relic 7 characters and 20 Relic 7 characters and 7 Relic 8 characters, okay? So that's total. Now, of those 20, right, 10 of those Relic 7 characters are going to be requirements that you're probably already going to farm for other characters to go ahead and unlock Journey Guide characters, whether it be Epic Confrontation characters, Legendary characters, Galactic Legends, right? And we can go ahead and go through them just to give you an idea of what those requirements are, right? So when we're looking at Riva Inquisitors, I don't necessarily include them as requirements because you only need them at Relic 7 to unlock Riva, but you need them at Relic 8 to go ahead and get there. So I'm not even counting that as a requirement, right? So technically you could throw on like 5 more into the required Relic 7 characters or Relic 8 kind of math, but I'm not even going to do that, right? So we have Bo-Katan and Bam for 2 characters. Well, Bo-Katan's not the required character. You need Beskar Armor Mando and IG-12 Relic 7 in order to unlock Bo-Katan, right? So those 2 are required in order to unlock an Epic Confrontation character. When we go over to Clone Troopers, you can do that mission with Captain Rex, who's required for Leia at Relic 7, and he's also used in the Saw Rebel Fighters. So there's 2 requirements right there taken up. Now in the Rebel Fighters mission, I do it with Drogon, Captain Rex, and Cassian. Those are 3 required characters at Relic 7 or higher. So those are kind of already required for Profundity. Those are required for Leia. 2 things that you would want to get normally anyway. So you're not going out of your way doing anything special for the special mission here. Now, Saw is also a requirement for Cal, Jedi Knight Cal, but he's only required at gear 12, so I'm not going to count him, okay? Then we go over to Marin and Night Sisters. This used to have less requirements because we used to do it with Old Daka and Mother Talzin. Now that's kind of shifted, and what we're doing is going towards Great Mothers, Morgan Elspeth. I use the Night Trooper and Death Trooper Peridia, which are needed for Galactic Legend Ahsoka Tano. So I actually forgot 2 requirements. So 4 of the Marin Night Sisters that we use in this special mission are required at Relic 7 or higher to go ahead and unlock Galactic Legends and Baylan Skoll, which is an epic confrontation character, right? And then we got Seer and Jedi Knight Cal, which I don't count as requirements for anything, even though they are required to like unlock Zepho. That's kind of wrapped up in all of this, right? So I'm not going to count requirements to do the special missions in order to get what I'm talking about. So we have to adjust this number because I forgot about Night Trooper and Death Trooper Peridia. So this is actually 12 requirements, okay? So if we looking at what we need, we only need 7 Relic 8 characters and 8 more Relic 7 characters, right? So I got to adjust this math too because I did it by 17. This is actually 15. Let me go ahead and adjust these numbers here. And that's the same, right? So, okay, so what we're looking at then is this is the total amount of Electrium conductors you need in order to Relic 7 15 characters, right? Between these two, because you'll have to Relic 7 this in order to get to Relic 8, right? So that's included. So 8 left over here from the requirements, beyond the requirements, and then 7 here gets you to 15. So we need 600 Electrium conductors, 150 Zinbiddle data cards, and 140 impulse detectors. Now that seems like a lot. I can admit that seems like a lot all at once, right? But when we look at what we're getting in return for that participation, it actually goes by fairly quickly, right? So over here is what I've done. I've taken the amount of we get, the amount of get 2 and get 3 that we get, and divided it by the cost of Kyrotechs, because some people are on that Kyrotech train still, that crunch, right? So they're interested in how many Kyrotechs I can get extra. This just makes the Kyrotech crunch disappear. Like, yeah, Zepho and Mandalore definitely help reduce that crunch, but it just becomes non-existent when you start doing special missions, because Kyrotechs are by far the cheapest thing that you can buy with Get 2 and Get 3 in those. With Get 3, they cost 65 a piece, and Get 2, they cost 60 a piece, right? Or no, turn that around. Get 2, they cost 65 a piece, and Get 3, they cost 60 a piece. So once you start transitioning and in the mid to late game kind of territory, kind of mid game, I recommend you spend all your Get 2 and Get 3 on Kyrotech, because it's going to get you all those characters geared up, and then you can start worrying about relics. But like I said, when you start adding up everything that you're getting from territory battle, these just goes away completely. When you start adding in the stars that you're getting, because you get 180, you get just from the bonus zones, right? And then the territory battle rewards, you end up with 381 Kyrotechs every 2 weeks. So you're getting enough to relic or completely gear 2 marquee characters every month. So it's already solved at that point, and then you have some extra to spend, right? And that's not to mention Kyrotechs you're getting from dailies, you're getting it from other events like assault battles and things like that. So if you do special missions, Kyrotechs won't exist as an issue for you ever again. Now beyond that though, I've also done it for Electrum conductors and Biddles, impulse detectors, and gear to keypads. Unfortunately with Get 2, we can't directly buy Electrum conductors or the salvage, and the same with impulse detectors, right? Get 1 you can, which isn't shown here because the special missions don't apply. But as we see with the reward crate, you do get 5,000 Get 1 every territory battle, and eventually there isn't really anything to spend it on. Like, you'll spend that early on gear, but you'll also want impulse detectors and Electrum conductors, and you can spend that on salvage if you want to. But going back to the spreadsheet real quick, okay? You can buy Electrum conductors and impulse detectors outright with Get 3. It's usually in the top here. I'll go ahead and go back over to the game and show you where it shows up for those of you who don't know. I actually didn't buy the impulse detectors, which I'm going to go ahead and buy now because I always buy these with my Get 3. You can buy them in the top right corner here, or it might adjust according to your screen size, but it's right after the fleet shards, the capital ship shards. So go ahead and buy those real quick. And then as you can see, this is the gear. This is the Zinbittle gear that usually shows up. And then down here is where you can buy the impulse detector stuff and the electrum conductor stuff. Okay, so back over to the spreadsheet once more. Okay, so you can directly buy electrums and impulse detectors with Get 3. Now in Zinbittles, you can buy with Get 2, as I showed you the gear there to salvage, and you can buy them in the same spot that I just showed you with the impulse detectors with Get 3 directly. Now I don't recommend that you buy gear to keep heads and Zinbittles directly, because you can buy those in other places, right? So it becomes much more efficient to buy Zinbittles and gear to keep heads with Get 2, and then you can focus your Get 3 on these ones. And that's again after you have finished your Kyrotech crunch and you don't have any you don't have anything else to buy really. What some people really like to spend their Get 3 on is those micro attenuators. No problems if that's what you want to spend it on. You can get your impulse detectors from other places, absolutely, like territory battle rewards. Maybe you don't need as many relic gates, whatever. The point of this analysis is to show you how much you can get if that's what you want to focus on, right? So, and that's what this number is representing. It's not only the special rewards, but also like the bonus crate and then the actual reward you get for the stars. So this is showing you kind of what you're capable of getting within one territory battle if you focused all the resources you could on that specific material, right? So when we look at the electrum conductors required and the Zinbittle data cards required and the impulse detectors required in order to get all these special mission teams up and running, we see that it only takes 6 territory battles to pay off Zinbittle data cards and 35 territory battles to pay off the impulse detectors. Now 35, it looks like a lot, and 89 to pay off the electrum conductors definitely seems like a lot, but you're kind of looking at the analysis in only one direction if that's the take you go for, okay? So 35 TBs is about 17 months. So that's about a year and a half, right? A year and a half of doing this just to pay off the impulse detectors. And then even more years. It's like, 4 years to pay off the electrum conductors? Okay, sure. But this is largely because we can't pay off the electrum conductors and the impulse detectors with Get 2. Okay, so while we're sitting there using our Get 3 to pay off the electrum conductors and the impulse detectors, we're still getting 10,400 Get 2 that completely eliminates any need we have for Zinbittle data cards and gear to keypads, not to mention the Kyrotechs, right? So it's like, if you're doing apples to apples and you want to stay strict on the analysis, yes, it takes a long time for these special missions to pay off the electrum conductors or the impulse detectors. But it also is, you're using this as a method to pay off data cards, right? So if you can translate electrum conductors, I'm spending electrum conductors in order to get more Zinbittle data cards, because in that same amount of time you're going to get hundreds if not thousands of Zinbittle data cards, right? And hundreds of gear to keypads. So that's why it's a little bit of a weird analysis to just simply look at this and be like, say that would take way too long to pay off the electrum conductors, because you're ignoring all the other benefits that you get while you're farming to pay off the electrum conductors and the impulse data cards, right? And then electrum conductors are easier to get elsewhere. So it's like, it's not even a matter that, of course you would want to spend electrum conductors in order to obtain Zinbittle data cards and gear to keypads, because electrum conductors are so plentiful to get beyond this, right? Now, how are they so plentiful to get, you might ask? Well, they only require 5.5 pieces of salvage to go ahead and get one. You get them from multiple other sources, right? So let's look at what would happen if we incorporated all of the stuff that we're getting, right? Let's go back over here and look in the TB rewards, right? At the bottom here, we get stuff that can be translated into electrum conductors with these rewards right here. That's about 8 electrum conductors right there, to say nothing of this 20 up here, right? So, and then also we get this. So let's go back and look at the analysis when we incorporate the actual rewards, right? So if you're isolating just the special missions and looking at just how far the special missions would get you and how long it'll take to pay off with just the special missions, sure, it can look like a very high number if you ignore everything else. But let's go ahead and add in what I got from the actual rewards for the TB, right? Now the numbers have changed drastically, right? We incorporate all of that. This trickles down into this analysis. You see these numbers go up because suddenly I have a huge chunk to also play with. These numbers blow up. Okay, so now in order to pay off this investment that is the special teams, it's only going to take me 22 TBs, which is 11 months approximately, in order to pay this off. And again, this is just with the Get 3, to say nothing of all the Get 2 that we're going to get. It's going to take me 9 TBs or 4.5 months to pay off the impulse detectors for these Relic 8 characters and Inquisitors, which, I mean, I honestly need to upgrade my Inquisitors. That's the one team I don't have for the special missions. And then in middle data cards, you can see it's trivial. If you focus all your resources, that's like a month and a half of Zin-Biddle data card collection, right? So it's really not much at all. And then you can start gearing, you know, what resources you did pay for the data cards over to the electrum conductors and the impulse detectors, right? If that's something you want to do. But you might not even really need to worry about paying off the electrum conductors, because again, you're getting them from other sources. So when you start looking at it like this, it takes about a year to pay off the investment that you put in, and then you're getting dividends for the rest of the time you're playing this game. Now, we've been doing similar numbers for going on years now, between the other guilds that I've been in and the guild that I'm currently in. This has gone up, definitely, but it hasn't skyrocketed because I've always placed an emphasis on these special missions, right? I've always been a big proponent of it. I've always been tracking and kind of trying to get my guild to go for it. So I've well and beyond paid off any investment that I made in the special team, in the special missions. Now, to know, this is an important caveat here. If you go ahead and upgrade these characters and just do it yourself, you will not have this, these results. This requires buy-in from your guildmates. In a lot of these special missions, we have between 40 and 44 mission completions, which means basically everybody has these special mission teams now. Now there's some, like the Get 3 missions, that are a little bit more inaccessible for people. We don't have quite as many doing the Kira L3 special mission, right? We only got, last TB we had 15 people, and then Inquisitors we only had 24 of, right? So we can get these numbers up pretty substantially. And then Clone Troopers is also something we need to work on, but we have about 10, and this really will equate to some people failing the mission and some people just not being around for the mission. But you know, there's a little bit of meat on the bones for us to go ahead and get to. But you really have to get your guild to buy in. But once they buy in, these are the results you're looking at, right? These are the copious amounts of rewards that you're going to get for doing these special missions every 2 weeks, which is twice a month, you know. So these numbers are multiplied on a monthly basis by 2, which is just an absolutely insane amount of rewards. It doesn't even come, like, what you can get in the PvP realm doesn't come close to what you could be getting if you focused on TB, right? And that's not to say you have to sacrifice PvP. It just may mean putting a little bit more attention for now into these Relic 7 and Relic 8 characters in order to excel in that part of the game. And then once you do all that, that's going to help you drastically excel in the PvP area, because you're going to be having all of this income to be going ahead and putting into those teams over there, right? So I'm a numbers guy. Like, I could do this all day, and I could just, you know, extrapolate more and more as to how we could break this down and how many days it'll take to pay it off and things like that. But I think from here, you guys kind of get the point, right? TB can have huge benefits in terms of your rewards, and you know, it's a mistake to not focus on the special missions. It's also a mistake not to focus on your stars. Yes, the stars require a ton of investment in order to get to, and one doesn't make a huge bit of difference. But that mentality, because you can start that mentality very, very early on, right? You could start it at 20 stars and be like, oh, we shouldn't go to 21 because 21 isn't going to get us that much more. Oh, we shouldn't go to 22 because 22 isn't going to get us that much more. It's only 25 crystals. It's only 150 Get 3. But the problem is, if you have that mentality early on and you stop there, then you don't experience that growth that you can get from adding 20 stars, right? When you add 20 stars to your territory battle over a long period of time, right? This is all the caveat, it takes time. When you add 20 stars, suddenly you're talking about 500 extra crystals every TB, twice a month. That's 1,000 crystals a month, right? You start adding in, what is it? 3,000 get 3 per month, right? Rather than just the 150 per star that you're talking about. Or no, that would be 6,000 per month, 3,000 per TB, right? So it's very easy to get into that, oh, this single little incremental jump is not worth it. This single little incremental jump is not worth it. But you need to take a more holistic picture and see, well, what happens if we add all of this? What happens if we have a plan to jump 5 stars within the next 6 months rather than 1 star in the next 2 months, right? You got to take it on a more holistic view. And especially with territory battle, when you start thinking about how to get to those higher levels, your whole plan and dynamic changes on how you go about it, right? So oftentimes you'll see jumps from that are 2 or 3 stars at a time, because it involves suddenly trying to max out one planet earlier, and you're gonna have to take a different path, and then suddenly that path opens up more options, right? So, okay, that's what I had to say. I hope that you guys see this and want to encourage your guilds to go ahead and increase your special mission rewards. I will be on vacation on the next TB, so I'm not going to be able to upload, but the TB after that, so say a month from now or so, look forward to my phase 3. I know I fell short a little bit with this phase 3 and I couldn't upload, and that's where a lot of the special missions are, but about a month or so I'll be uploading the Kashyyyk combat guide, the Dothamir combat guide, the Zepho combat guide. So these will help you kind of get those special missions, see how to do those and how easy they can be, because a lot of them I auto them. But yeah, so look forward to those guides, and that'll kind of tell you everything you need to know about those special missions. Hope you got value out of this. If you did, go ahead and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button for more contents and guides like this, and hit the notification bell so you know when they go live. Thanks for tuning in, everybody, and have a good rest of your Sunday. Good night.